Okay, let me start off by saying this. I almost never go to the movies with anyone. When I was younger, I was growing up and everything, the movie wasn't any good unless I was with a bunch of people and we could all enjoy it. Now, if I want to pay attention and catch details and see little things, I can't have my buddy going, "Did you see that?" And then I turn and say, "Yeah, I saw it." And then I just missed whatever was happening. Or my other buddies are talking across to each other. Pam doesn't like me anymore. Maybe you should try flowers. Oh, I don't have any flowers. Maybe you should buy them. And they're talking back and forth to each other. And I'm like, so I usually go by myself. Doesn't mean that they empty out the theater and I'm the only one in there, but I don't have any direct contact with people. And when people cheer or boo or scream or whatever they react, I feel it. Just as if there were my buddies sitting with me. With that in mind, I saw They Will Kill You with someone. I went and saw the movies with people. And it was entertaining. I had forgotten, it had been years since I had done that. I had forgotten how much fun it was to go with people on either side of you, chit-chapping and talking and stuff. And now I remember. Probably not going to do it again anytime soon, but I did it and it was cool. This movie, They Will Kill You, was, if you took a pot of action and you sprinkled in a little Kill Bill, you sprinkled in one of those One Against All, Commando, John Wick, Rambo type movies and stuck that in there, and then you took a dash of revenge, poof, threw that in there, and then you had I'm gonna rescue you, I'm gonna get you out of here, put that in there with a pinch of hallway fight and a whole lot of gore. Then you got this movie, man. Essentially, Zazie Beetz plays a woman who made a terrible mistake in her youth, and she abandons her sister to a terrible fate. Later, she gets the opportunity somehow, because she's like in jail, and she hires a guy. I guess he's a detective or bounty hunter or lawyer. I don't know what he is. They don't say. But she hires a guy that finds her sister for her while she's in jail. He does that. I don't know how that happened. And then she gets out of jail. I guess she escaped, or maybe her time was up. They don't really say. She's just in jail, and then she's out of jail, and her sister is surprised. So I think she was supposed to still be in jail. I don't know what happened with that, but she's out. And she goes to a hotel. She needs a job. She goes to a hotel. They bring her in and everything. They send her to her room, and immediately shenanigans start, almost immediately. And I mean, you could tell that something weird is happening as soon as she's up in that hotel, a gigantic hotel. And she's in there, and there's only like 2 or 3 guests, which would make me question that. Gigantic hotel, only 2 or 3 guests. Everybody here is super rich. I don't know. I've never been super rich. Maybe that's how super rich hotels work. There's only 1 or 2 people in them. Let the super rich frolic. I don't know. But I would have seen that as weird. She goes in there, and she's got a suitcase. She's checking her suitcase out. She's looking through it, making sure she's got all of her this and that. In the trailer, she's fighting in her underwear, and she's also fighting in like a jumpsuit. So I was like, I wonder why she was in her underwear. You quickly learn why she was fighting in her underwear. And this woman she's got some serious skills. And she brings weapons with her, which, if you were going to get in a fight and you're not a ninja, you probably wouldn't bring ninja stuff. If you were going to get in a fight and you were Sho Kozuki, a ninja, and you probably wouldn't bring the stuff that Commando would bring. You wouldn't bring guns and knives, guns and shotguns and guns and explosives. You'd bring ninja stuff. You would bring something that you were vaguely familiar with. The average person off the street probably would bring a bat. Probably. The weapons that she chose made me think that she had some type of knowledge about these weapons. She didn't just randomly say, well, I'm going to get this, this, and that, just in case somebody trips. Nobody does that. You bring something that you are vaguely familiar with, and if you're not vaguely familiar with anything, a stick, a bat, a rock, everybody's pretty familiar with that. So brass knuckles, everybody punches everybody. So she brought particular items, and they don't talk about that. They don't tell you how she learned to use these items, because she is proficient at these items. And she goes in there, and there's a dude that knocks her out and is trying to touch her, and he does a little bit, which even watching it and knowing these are actors and knowing it's a movie, I was like, it was a little nasty. But he had intentions on doing more, and he gets stopped. So she's fighting these guys and everything, and you know what? There's not a real way to talk about this movie without giving up a little spoilers. So I want to say, first I'll say this: great action if you want to see a good action flick. If you want to see people knuckle up, if you want to see Zazie Beetz running around half naked punching people in the face, you're going to get a lot of that. You want to see her jumping and diving through the air, wire work, hitting people with axes, you're going to get a lot of that. But there's more. So right here, boink, we're going to put a spoiler, because there's no way to really talk about it without talking about it. They had a movie called Ready or Not recently. It's still in the theaters, where part 2 is, where a woman and her sister in part 2 are captured by Satanists. This movie turns out that Zazie Beetz is locked in a building with Satanists. In Ready or Not, the woman had to fight Satanists, and there was a guy, Mr. LaBelle, who just appeared for an instant. He didn't do anything to the girls, but he was making other people blow up like he was Thanos. In this movie, they will kill you. They're Satan worshipers too, except they've got demonic power. This is a Satan movie. There's a demon actually in this movie, and all of the people, almost all of the people in the movie have gotten power from the devil. So it turned out to be something that I wasn't expecting. There's a scene where she takes a bed and she shoves it up against the wall, and for some reason these two people get smushed up against the wall in this bed, and she's strong enough to hold them, and they can't, I can't get up. And she's holding us with the bed. There's two of us, and one of us is a great big dude, but we can't move the bed. And they just stand against the wall, and she holds the bed with one hand, takes her machete, and she's just stabbing the dude. Pow, 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 pow. She must have stabbed him 126 times, and he dies. And then she cuts the woman's head off. Flick! That's the end of that. But then, just like, the Evil Dead or Wolverine or something like that, they start pulling themselves back together, which would have made me look for the exit. if I stab you 111 times and you get back up and you be like, oh man, you ruined my shirt, I'm getting out of there. That's the end of the fight. And I'm gonna fight now, it's escape. But she didn't really seem to care. She was like, oh, what is going on here? And I'm thinking, that's it? That's what's on your mind? What's going on? I'd have been like, where's the exit? She's like, this is peculiar. Peculiar? That chick just put her head back on. That dude just put his head back on. There's no way I'd have been okay with that. But, I mean, she was. And the devil in this movie actually shows up and she fights him. So it's a little bit of the Evil Dead mixed in there too, because those guys were fighting deadites, demonic creatures, not aliens, not subterraneans, not nether dimensional, demons. That means the devil. And they're fighting them and they're beating them. They're using a machine gun and a saw. She does that. She's fighting them too. They're demons and she's just fighting them, man. And every single time they run up on her, she gives them the business. Everybody in that movie is a very poor fighter, except for her. She's giving everybody that work, which was interesting. It was good. I enjoyed it. You got Zazie Beetz. She's a whole event by herself, and then she's like mostly unclothed, so that's a thing. And then she's beating people up, which I kind of dig the ultra violence. That's my thing. And there's a scene where she opens the door after she fights a bunch of people. She opens the door. She's exhausted, and there's like 20 of them. And she's like, oh. And they're like, what you gonna do now? And they let her turn around, and she picks up an axe, and she wraps cloth around it, pours alcohol on it, and sets it on fire. And I'm like, they just let her pick up a fire axe? I know you're gonna come back to life, but you don't want to get hit in the face with a fire axe, do you? Who wants that? Who wakes up in the morning and says, boy, I sure would like a cup of coffee, some scrambled eggs, and a fire axe right in the middle of my forehead? Who says that? But then she just starts axing people. And for some reason, it's the movies, because of movies, every time she hits somebody, they set on fire. She's like, here's super axe, bam! That person's on fire, plus she just cut him in the head. Super axe, bam! Now that person's on fire. That's not really how fire works, but it works like that in the movies. So it was interesting. It was good. The optics of this movie, the visuals of this movie were incredible. She's jumping through the air, she's splitting people in half, and then almost all of them just come back, because not everybody that works in this building is possessed or is in possession of power given by Satan. Some of these people are there because they want power given by Satan. So they're doing whatever. They're going to try to kill her because they want the blessings of, the devil. Why would you want that? What you going to do with that? Yeah, okay, somebody stabs you, you're not going to die. But eventually, when your time is up, you go to hell forever. You spent 5 years, 20 years, 100 years, 300 years on earth. Cool. But forever is always going to be longer than that. You're going to be in hell forever. Why would you do that? But, to each his own, I guess. I'm not signing no contract like that. Nope. I don't even need to read the fine lines. Hell, I ain't going there. But they were doing it. We don't have the power of Satan, but we're going to get it. Yeah, you're going to get it. This was a good movie. She's in the building. It turns out she's in there because she knows her sister works there and terrible things have happened. She's not sure what exactly is happening, but she knows terrible things happen in that building. She finally finds her sister after 10 years of being away, and mostly in jail, almost always in jail. I don't know what, because they're kind of vague on her jail time, but 10 years later, she decides she's going to find her sister. I'm going to get you out of there. And that's the story. She goes to this building that is a conduit to hell, and all of the people in there are aliens. And Satan can use this building to climb up into the earth, and she just wants her sister, man. She just wants her sister. She wants to get out of there. She wants to take them, and I don't know where they're going because they ain't got no place to live. She just got out of jail or for wherever. Her sister was living in the hotel, so I don't know where they're going. But she's, I just want my sister, man. Just give me my sister and I'll leave. And just like I said about Ready or Not, I think in this movie they were touched by an angel, because there's no way she should have been able to survive. Had to be at least 30 people in that building. And almost all of them were touched by Satan. And again, Satan does show up, and she knuckles up with, he doesn't use his super magical hocus pocus, I'm gonna zap you in the smoke powers. He fights with her like a fist fight. And I'm like, how do you even win a fight like that, you know? But movies, because movies. I've seen a movie where a dude in a cape put his underwear on the outside of his pants and he flew through the air. Movies, man. So she does all this stuff to get her sister, and that's the gist of the movie. That's really what's happening in the movie. She goes to get her. She doesn't know that there are demons in the building. She finds out, and I don't want to say the hard way because she was kicking everybody's butt, but she finds out, and she's gotta leave, man. Gotta get out once she finds her sister. Gotta fight those demons. It's a good movie, a really good movie with a lot of, not really a lot of twists and turns. It's pretty straightforward. Go into the building, fight the demons, try to get out. That's pretty much it. But I enjoyed it. Action, flaming axes, funny things. You know, Patricia Arquette's in this movie, and I almost didn't recognize her because she's like 300 years old now. But Patricia Arquette's in this movie. A lot of people, famous people, are in this movie. Not a lot, like 3. Good movie. I enjoyed it, and I would give They Will Kill You, I was going to say 7 because the story was really weak, but I was also thinking 9 because I really enjoyed the action. Ignore the story. The story is horrible. The action is what's going to keep you in your seat, eating your popcorn and screaming at the screen. I'm going to go with an 8. 8 bags of popcorn, which is kind of high for a movie like this, but I really enjoyed those fight scenes, man. And they just kept coming. They just kept coming, back to back. Every couple of seconds, fight scene. Talk for like 10 seconds, fight scene. Oh, we need to go down this hallway. Hide behind the desk, fight scene. It just kept happening, and I dig that. But that's what I think. More importantly, what do you think? Now that you had a chance to look at the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.